lot of emphasis was placed over the years, Sarah Gates, about how this is about Hindu triumphalism. People even bought in a caste angle, but the thought that is Hinduism, how do you think today it is going to be embodied and propagated by the Ram temple?
Well, I believe that everybody who is Hindu all over the world can identify with this momentous historic monument and the significance to the religion rather than just the politics, which is all we seem to hear about. This transcends politics. Every Hindu in Australia is celebrating. Almost every Hindu. All of the Hindu temples are celebrating, and I think that's a sure sign of this triumphant feeling, this victory that they feel that they have resurrected something that was suppressed, something that was oppressed by colonialism. And this is certainly a historic moment for all Indigenous peoples because it signifies that colonialism isn't forever and decolonial acts do take place, such as this Pran Pratishtha today. And, you know, I think the court case is, you know, really demonstrates how the mechanisms of how these decolonial legal suits can be won. And that is probably the most challenging matter, I think, for the critics, in that, you know, members of a former colonial class may find that Indigenous peoples hold similar values and similar law among themselves, and that is that the deity itself and the land upon which the deity was born has legal rights of juridical personhood. And we've seen that in New Zealand and in Australia, where rivers have been granted legal personhood. And I think this really challenges the colonial establishment in so many ways, and it scares people because it's not the case that once a mosque, always a mosque. It's not the case that...
Sorry to interrupt you. Dushanji wants to come in. Yes.
Yeah, Padmaja, I am just seeing the visuals on the screen. What is now happening is a process called Sankalpam, where the priest will ask the Yajaman to pray for the goodwill of his family. And every time we've been noticing Prime Minister Modi ji speak, he says Parivar Jano. So for him, the Parivar happens to be the entire nation. Because in Sankalpam, you have to position yourself as per the space and the time. You have to say, in this particular Shukla Paksham, on the Tithi of Dwadashi, in the Nakshatra of Margasirsham, I now do Sankalpam, hey Bhagavan Rama, please keep the country good. So the process what the Prime Minister is undergoing now is called Sankalpam. And if you look at the priests, from my understanding, they all belong to a section of the Yajurveda called Shukla Yajurveda. Why Shukla Yajurveda is because when we have references in the Valmiki Ramayanam, where Dasharatha had to perform two ceremonies. One, the Yagam called as Ashwamedham, and followed by that was Putrakameshti. In the Ashwamedha Yajna verse, there is a commentator who states that Dasharatha belonged to the clan of Shukla Yajurveda. So the temple authorities have found some good advice and they have employed Shukla Yajurvedic people who were reciting all these days. The Sankalpam is being performed, and now there is Mantra Prokshanam. So when you take waters, for all these 10 days ceremonies were performed, and those waters don't become just normal H2O, it becomes Vedic water, Mantrika Jalam, and then that is Prokshanam. Prokshan says Purusha Suktam, so that is then sprinkled, and that is a part of also the ceremony called Punyaha Vachanam, where you purify the temple, because during the temple construction small insects could have died. So a Vastu ceremony will also be conducted where all those sins are washed away, and you seek from Mother Nature, telling her, very sorry for the construction of this temple, we might have killed a few insects, please forgive us. So this Vastu ceremony, Sankalpam, Mantra Prokshanam, all this is a part of now the Purvangam, the rites before the Prana Pratishtha.